The journey from a collegiate star to an NFL millionaire is often portrayed as the ultimate American success story. Yet, for many, the bank account begins to drain the moment the jersey is retired. While the league offers unprecedented wealth, it also presents a complex landscape of predatory advisors, high-risk ventures, and unforeseen liabilities that can dismantle even the most promising futures. Today, we're examining the stories of 5 players who discovered that the financial game outside the hash marks is often more lethal than anything they faced on the field. From failed tech startups to insider fraud, these accounts serve as a sobering reminder that without the right strategy, even a lifetime of earnings can vanish in a few short seasons. Dan Marino. Dan Marino is a legendary Hall of Fame quarterback and one of the most recognizable figures in NFL history, having earned millions throughout his prolific playing career and subsequent broadcasting tenure. Despite his massive earnings, Marino fell victim to the common trap of swinging for the fences with high-risk, speculative investments. He invested millions of dollars into a tech startup called Digital Domain, a company risks independent vetting, and the danger of allowing celebrity status to replace prudent financial analysis when evaluating new, unproven business opportunities. Such high-profile failures often stem from a misplaced trust in flashy pitch decks that prioritize Kosar. Kosar was a beloved quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, earning significant wealth during his professional tenure. However, his financial downfall serves as a cautionary tale of how personal obligations and poor investment choices can converge to create a catastrophe. Kosar eventually faced a public financial collapse, struggling with debts that overwhelmed his liquid assets. His situation highlights the fragility of an athlete's fortune when legal debts, lifestyle costs, and business losses begin to stack up against them in the years following their retirement. The sheer weight of these combined liabilities eventually forced him into a position where he had to confront the reality of his depleted savings, proving that no level of on-field heroics can shield a player from the compounding interest of poor fiscal decisions. His journey from a city hero to facing severe economic hardship serves as a blunt reminder that maintaining long-term financial security requires constant, disciplined oversight rather than just the initial accumulation of high-level earnings. This public struggle became a fixture in the news, forcing him to address the gaps in his financial management strategies while under intense media scrutiny. The process of reconstructing his life necessitated selling off personal assets and settling with creditors, a humbling experience that he has often spoken about to educate younger players. By openly discussing his mistakes, Kosar has attempted to turn a personal tragedy into a roadmap for others to avoid his specific financial pitfalls. Vontaze Burfict. Vontaze Burfict entered the NFL with everything to prove, transforming himself from an undrafted free agent into one of the league's most feared linebackers. His aggressive style earned him lucrative contracts and millions of dollars in career earnings, but it also placed him in a financial trap of his own making. Year after year, repeated violations of the NFL's player safety rules resulted in suspensions, massive fines, and the loss of valuable game checks. Instead of building long-term financial security, a significant portion of his income disappeared through penalties that could have been avoided. Each suspension did more than reduce his paycheck, it weakened his reputation across the league. Teams became increasingly reluctant to invest in a player whose availability was constantly in question, limiting future contract opportunities and shortening his earning window. The financial damage extended well beyond the fines themselves, as lost salaries, missed bonuses, and declining market value compounded over time. Burfict's story proves that financial collapse isn't always caused by bad investments or dishonest advisors. Sometimes, the greatest threat to an athlete's wealth is the inability to protect the career that generates it. His journey stands as a powerful lesson that discipline off the balance sheet can be just as important as discipline on the field. Schlichter. Schlichter's story is perhaps one of the most tragic examples of how personal demons can lead to total financial and professional ruin. Once a highly touted prospect, Schlichter's life and finances were systematically destroyed by a severe and uncontrollable gambling addiction. This addiction led him into a cycle of illegal activities, debt, and eventually prison, completely obliterating his earnings and his reputation. The path to his downfall was marked by a desperate spiraling pattern, where he exploited his connections and former teammates to fuel his constant need for high-stakes action, leaving a trail of broken promises and drained accounts in his wake. His life serves as a stark reminder that even the most talented athletes can have their futures stolen by behavioral health issues that go unaddressed, as his singular focus on gambling eclipsed all other professional and personal responsibilities. His eventual incarceration and total loss of assets demonstrate the catastrophic potential of unchecked addictive behaviors to strip away both the wealth earned on the field and the potential for a stable life after the final whistle. The severity of his addiction meant that no amount of intervention or financial opportunity could pull him back from the brink of total social and professional isolation. As his legal troubles mounted, the public discourse shifted from his athletic potential to the profound sadness of a man caught in an inescapable cycle of self-destruction. His ongoing struggle remains a haunting example used by leagues to highlight the critical need for behavioral support programs and early intervention for players facing similar battles. Simeon Rice built a dominant 12-year career as one of the most feared pass rushers of his era, racking up 122 career sacks and earning a Super Bowl ring with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2003. Off the field, however, Rice became one of dozens of NFL players swept up in a wave of unregistered financial advisor fraud that plagued the league in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Like several of his peers, Rice entrusted a significant portion of his fortune to an advisor operating without any real oversight or accountability, a common blind spot before the NFL Players Association introduced formal advisor registration requirements. According to a review published in the Harvard Journal of Sports and Entertainment Law, Rice was among a group of players, including stars like Eric Dickerson and Robert Brooks, who collectively lost millions of dollars to schemes that promised safe, high-yield returns, but delivered devastating losses instead. The damage went beyond a single bad quarter or a disappointing statement, because Rice, like many of his contemporaries, had no independent system for verifying his advisor's credentials or cross-checking account activity. The losses accumulated quietly for years before the full scope became clear. His case became part of the broader case study that pushed the NFLPA to overhaul its financial oversight rules, though even those reforms have since been criticized as incomplete. Rice's story illustrates a theme that runs through so many of these collapses. The players with the most dominant instincts on the field were often the ones who trusted too easily off of it, mistaking a title or a smooth pitch for genuine expertise. It stands as another reminder that a Super Bowl ring guarantees nothing when it comes to protecting a fortune from someone determined to exploit access rather than earn it. The transition from the gridiron to the real world is a challenge that few are truly prepared for. These stories remind us that the skills required to execute a perfect drive on Sunday are fundamentally different from those needed to navigate the complexities of long-term wealth management. Whether it's a lack of due diligence, a hidden addiction, or unsustainable personal obligations, the path to financial ruin is often paved with good intentions and bad advice. Which of these financial cautionary tales did you find most eye-opening? Let us know in the comments. Hit that like button if you appreciate these deep dives into the financial realities of professional sports, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next breakdown.